Hey guys, what's up? It's Dark Musician Girl. Hi, I am here with another section of the beautiful world of Jeffree Star. Part 2, of course, we saw that yesterday. Shane uploaded another video of the series, so I just wanted to do, again as I always do, a quick summary and then my own opinion on that. Before I talk about that, please do not send any hate to Jeffree Star, Shane Dawson, or anybody involved in this video. These videos are only done just to get your opinion and my opinion. You guys already know. Please be civil in the comments. Again, this is my opinion. My opinion is not to sway you, not to convince you to go either way. You're gonna have your own opinion and I'm gonna have mine. We don't need to change it. It's just for discussion. So moving on to that, the part 2 of the Jeffree Star series was extremely more interesting than part 1. Like I said in the previous video, if you haven't watched it yet, please go back and watch my first video on this. But I had stated that, you know, this was just an intro video and it was a good intro video, but I was expecting to be hit with like bam, drama, bam, facts, back, this and that. But it didn't end up happening. This one was a little bit more, I think they're trying to do like a dramatic climb to the whole drama get into thing. That's what I think. It's just slowly we're building up to it. And I mean, that's fine with me, but I just get frustrated. Personally, I get frustrated because I'm like, oh, I just want the drama just to happen. I just want to get to it. And I feel like some parts of it was kind of like a waste of time. This episode wasn't a waste of time. I think it was very informative for people who want to know about more about the makeup industry, more about the ins and outs of how to make the actual makeup. And Jeffree did give a lot of insight, even though he knew he was gonna get, I don't think backlash, but I think that now a lot of makeup companies are now scared. The video starts off with, you know, Shane getting ready and Andrew getting ready to go to Jeffree's warehouses. So they go to the warehouses and Jeffree tells them, hey, I bought like 3 other warehouses. And the way that Shane was so surprised, like, what, you're kidding me? You bought like that many more? It was crazy. It was something like mind-blowing that he was able to expand to 3 more warehouses because everything's just blowing up for him. So they went inside the new warehouse, which was now renovated, and Shane was nervous. Shane was nervous because he's like, well, I don't know how this is going to be. This is going to be the first business meeting. Jeffree asked if I was sure that we should film this. And I said, yeah, we should film this if you're comfortable with it. And he said, yeah, sure. So they go in, they start off talking, and it's like sort of like a back and forth, like of him going to the bathroom because he's super nervous, and then him talking to the business managers of each section and the production manager, and introducing the terms of how this is going to work for his palette. And that's when Jeffree said, oh no, we're not just doing your own makeup line, we are going to start on your merch too. And Shane was like, wait, what? Like my merch too? Like we're gonna do that? And he said, yeah, we're gonna do your merch. What do you want to do? We could do your robes, we could do slime. And then he asked this production manager, can we mass produce slime? And he's like, yep, we can do that. And Shane was just like, I feel like he was getting overwhelmed the entire video, just like with all of like, oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, we're gonna do this. Like, it's clear that they didn't talk about it beforehand because they wanted to get his reaction, because if they talked about it beforehand, he wouldn't have been as shocked. And he was extremely shocked to the point that he was like sweating on his back, and they displayed it on the video. So they go into the business room and they start discussing the actual numbers on how to produce everything. And Shane, of course, is going to ask a lot of questions. He's like, is it okay if I ask how much it's going to take to produce all this stuff? And they just said, like ballpark terms, usually Jeffree's palettes cost approximately $20 to produce. And to a lot of people that might seem like, it's $20, whatever. But he introduces that other companies actually takes way less to produce. Some companies, it takes their palette to produce like $3 and they sell it for $45 or $50. Keep in mind, he's talking about Sephora brands too. He's not talking about like drugstore items. He's talking about Sephora. So they're making over 700%. And that's the number, 700% of what they are actually making. So they're getting that whole percentage and that whole margin going back to them. And it's kind of not fair. And that's why Jeffree said, you know, I want to take my time and I want to put in as much money into my palettes as possible. So that's why they're $20 to make, because I put a lot of time into everything. But not only that, he says, I want it to be an affordable price for my consumer and for the people that want to purchase it. So that's why I have it at $50 to $60, which is pretty understandable. They go from there and then they go to like getting the shade names and stuff. When they start getting with the shade names, they start picking certain things, so like conspiracy, Illuminati, but not like with the I, with like tea, like, you know, like the drink tea. They start talking about all these names, and I think this is a cute little process because it shows Shane picking out these colors and saying, I'm gonna name this one after Rylan, and he's picking all these names, and it's so heartfelt. And that's when he asks him, hey, how much do you usually take home, like in your bank account because of your launch? Like, so let's say your biggest launch, how much did that make you? And Jeffree whips out his you know, iPhone calculator, and he's like, and then pulls up a number. And it takes a little bit to focus, but he actually makes a ton. Like, he makes about 20 million in each palette. And that was just mind-blowing. Like, wow, this, like, already, it's no surprise that, you know, he's rich, we know that. He lives a glamorous and luxurious lifestyle. There's no question about that. But I didn't know how much of it was actually coming from makeup. I thought most of it was coming from specifically the investments, because he had talked about in the first Shane Dawson series about how he made these investments. So it was like, what? Crazy. They were going more into the logistics of it after that, and they started explaining that Shane himself, out of the percentage, he was going to get 70%, and then Jeffree was going to get 30%, which mind boggles Shane even more, because he started realizing and going back to his other deals that he probably made in the past that he was screwed over probably, because Jeffree is offering a lot more of what other people would offer when they're doing merch, when they're doing makeup. And he stated an example with Nikki Tutorials. With Nikki Tutorials, she had that collab with Too Faced and she made her own palette. She had only gotten a flat line rate, which was of $50,000. And they made approximately $10 million from that palette. So she really got screwed over because of that. And seeing that, and then Shane just realizing, wow, I really got screwed over in the past because of my decisions that I made, and I didn't realize my own worth. So with that, after that, they kind of throw some shade at Laura Lee, because he shows a little photo of Cheeto, of course his cat, shows a photo of Cheeto and says, oh, look, he's crying. He has a tear. And he's like, oh yeah, that's one more tear than Laura Lee. And it's like, ooh. So we're now going to go into my opinion section of the video. Of course, this is my opinion, just a reminder. I don't mean to offend or sway anybody. It's just my opinion. Opinions are words, and words don't really mean much. So with that, I highly encourage you, if you have your own opinion that is like mine or is nothing like mine, share it down below. That is a very, very great if you do, and great if you don't. It's either way. So with that, going into my opinion, a lot of people had mixed feelings about this video. The first really big thing to come out of this video is the whole Nikki Tutorials getting screwed over. Of course, there was a hashtag that was starting to trend. It was boycott Too Faced because of that deal, because everybody knows, like, it sucks to get screwed over, and especially by a company that's making money off of you. Everybody was just so pissed. They were tweeting out to Jared to personally write a check, even though he doesn't own Too Faced anymore. They were just tweeting out to everybody like that they needed to do something. Going on with the next thing was a lot of people were kind of saying that Jeffree might just be using Shane as a cash grab because of how their series blew up and everything. So Shane is kind of his next big ticket to money. And I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that Jeffree saw how big he got because of the series, and not just big by influence, but big by specifically money wise. He was able to expand his business into 3 different warehouses, which is amazing. But not only that, he made a lot of money, and I think that he felt bad, or he he felt some sort of guilt because he's like, we should be sharing in the wealth, both of us, and not just me. So that's why I think he's doing this makeup line and his merch line, because I feel like he's trying to pay him back for what he did for him. And I don't think that's necessarily a cash grab. It's just a friend helping another friend for what they did. Another thing is that I personally, I don't like these kinds of slow series where it's, you can clearly tell they chopped it up a lot more. And hopefully, like, you know, they show a little bit more in the next part of the series, but I just feel like a lot of this is just slow build up. And I personally, it's just my opinion, of course, I hate slow build up. I hate the anticipation for what they're going to talk about. I just wish that they would have done just maybe like a, just bam, hit us with the facts, hit us with the drama, and just get it over with. But this slow build up is like frustrating, and it's like, oh, I'm just waiting for something to happen, and I don't want to wait for anything to happen. I just want it to happen so I can just get everything over with it. So anyways, this concludes my part 2 of my commentary on the beautiful world of Jeffree Star. Hopefully we get a little bit more action, because I am dying for it and I really want to see what's going to go on next. But also, I'm waiting in anticipation for the Dolan twins video, but because of course it's going to come out on Tuesday where they're going to talk to Shane. So I'm like, ooh, yes. And there's already been other theories going on. Spillsash already said that she thinks that the Cameron, if we look back at the text from Jeffree when he texted James Charles about the whole thing, saying, I'm gonna have Grayson go on camera and I'm gonna do this, and that. And he talked about a person named Cameron, and nobody knew who Cameron was until, I guess, in the first episode, they brought up a Cameron. They brought up Cameron Dallas, and then they brought up these little things. And Spillsash is like, maybe the Cameron that Jeffree was talking about in his text to James Charles was Cameron Dallas. So that's gonna be way much of like a, it's whoa, like I don't even know, like tea will be spilt, and it's gonna be spilt all over the place. It's not gonna be a very tidy thing. It's gonna be messy, and it's gonna be everywhere. So with that, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. Bye.